going to be all about Aaron Judge, the captain. And the question that arises is there's more of a question. I put it here as a statement, but I meant it more as a question is the captain back? Now, I made this topic initially right after he had that great game against the A's. I know a lot of you are going to brush off and say, well, it's just the A's. But still, saw great signs. We saw a great homer hit the other way. It was a pitch outside of the zone. So he responded to that greatly. He had another hard hit ball. He had other hard hit balls that were just fielded and played cleanly that day. But then the game right after, Aaron Judge went, I believe it was 0 for 5 with 2 walks. 0 for 5 with 2 walks, which is not good. And I'm not talking bad about Judge. I don't want to talk bad about Judge, but I'm going to give you a little bit of statistics, a little bit of background facts. I don't want to just give you the reason why I think he's going to jump back or the reason why I don't think he is, and not give you the opposite. And I'm going to add all context here. So this isn't concrete, perfect answer or anything, but over the last 10 games, he's only had 2 of those games where he's gotten a hit. Now, in those 10 games, he's gotten 4 hits in total. So in each of those 2 games that he got hits, he had 2 hits in each of those 2 games. But only 2 of his last 10 games has he gotten a hit. So that means 8 of his last 10, he hasn't gotten a single hit. And normally, this season, a lot of people have been kind of justifying Judge in his slow start to saying, oh, well, he's getting a lot of walks. Well, let's look at his walks in his last 10 games. In his last 10 games, he's only gotten 3 walks in his last 10 games. And again, same thing with the hits. Only 2 of those last 10 games had walks. The rest of the games, he just went 0 for 0 and really not a whole lot going. And in the last 10 games as well, in those same last 10 games, 18 strikeouts. So he's striking out a lot. But again, regardless of all of that, mark my words, I just have to put faith, a little bit of blind faith, with a little bit of context, because he showed great glimpses of what we know, who he is, what he could produce offensively in that A series. Not a lot of it, but just a glimpse of it. I think he's going to hopefully break out a bit more. I feel like it's maybe a bit of a struggle he's coming through, but he's been showing good signs. And I think he's going to break out more and more in this series against Milwaukee, which I'm going to be super, super excited about to tune in. Again, first game is at 8 p.m. today. And yeah, so again, regardless of all that, regardless of all the stats I gave you, I think because of that one game against the A's, he's going to have a very, very good a good run this series. And I think it may not be a full breakout, kind of like how Stanton goes from super hot to super cold pretty quick. I think this is going to be a little bit of a gradual work in progress. We've seen progress very gradually. Despite his numbers being where they are, they're better than what they were at one point. So I'm just believing in Judge, in the captain. I know he's going to figure it out at some point. There's no reason not to think that. Just looking at yesterday's games, you're looking at what we have, it's easy to say, and no other season and no other anything, and it's easy to say that he's not going to have a good year this year, but if you know who the track record he has, this is the abnormality. So it's hard to believe that this is common, and this is what's going to happen. So, and again, where the Yankees are in terms of record and stats, for us to really have our captain be absent offensively, and for us to still be in first place as of right now, it's pretty encouraging. I know it's not easy to say that that's encouraging, but it is. And if you liked today's episode, please make sure you subscribe down below. It'll truly mean the world. Check out what YouTube suggests will be a great video for you. And also, The Martian wants you to subscribe. Judge wants you to subscribe, so make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.